without further ado, guys, let's talk some business. Who's excited to learn about social media and social sharing? Everybody excited about that? Give me, if you, I don't know if we got our chat on. Everyone's putting their hands up anyways, or your reactions on the Zoom platform, which is cool. So that's what we're going to go through tonight. Just so you guys know, I'm going to be totally transparent with you. I'm not an expert. I don't claim to be a social media guru. I don't do social media for a living. I do ACN for a living. That's what I do. And I want you guys to understand that you don't have to be a social media guru. You don't have to know every little thing about social media to build a massive ACN business if that's your goal. But I will tell you, you've got to be a little bit knowledgeable about the use of social media and social sharing, because honestly, it's the way of the future, especially when it comes to networking in our industry. That's where things are progressing to. In my opinion, I think in the next 5 or 10 years, you're going to see 80% or 90% of our business done through either social media or social sharing and video content, right? And you'll see a little bit of a portion done face to face, meeting people. That's just the way things are progressing. So now's a really good time to get familiar with the concept of this industry. So let's go ahead. Let's share my slides with you guys. Hopefully this works, and we'll dive right into the topic. Okay. So to begin with, tonight, and again, this is a 2-part series. I'm going to begin by sharing with you guys a little bit about why social media, how to set up a good account, contacts versus connections, which is important, but also the compliance that we all need to follow in order to make sure that we protect the ACN opportunity, and we also protect all of our futures as well. Okay, so let's talk about, first of all, why social media. Okay, and I want to let you guys know, this is funny. I was skeptical. I'll be honest with you guys. I was skeptical about social media. Like I've been doing ACN for so long that I honestly thought, you know what? I don't need social media. I'm going to stick to doing just PBRs and meeting people face to face. That's where I'm good at. That's my bread and butter. I know when I'm in front of people, I can get people excited and I can share the value about the ACN opportunity and services. So I was skeptical. But you know what? Over time, I met some people and I just realized that, man, social media is so effective. Like I remember I saw, this is funny. Me and my wife were just talking about this. I saw I think it was Jay Leno interview with the Kardashians. Okay. And it was Kim Kardashian talking about her and her product, and also her sister Kylie's products. And you guys may know, like, their family is now well worth in excess of $1 billion net worth. And they were saying how they do zero advertising. They don't ever spend money on advertising. When they launch a product, it's all done through Instagram without any advertising, just simply using social media. So it's powerful, guys. Like if you think about any major corporation right now, everybody's looking towards social media because it's one of the only ways where you can really connect with people and interact with people versus just throwing some ads against a wall on TV or radio or print. So let's talk about that. So in terms of social media, why should you use it? As an independent business owner building your own business within ACN, you want to use it because honestly, it's going to help you guys grow your business, right? If you use it effectively, it's going to help you grow your business. And at the same time, if it's ineffective, it also could damage your business too. So we're going to talk a little bit about that. Okay. So number one is it's going to help you grow your business. Number two, it's a great way to make new friends. Look, my business partner, Peter Salloway, who some of you guys have met, just turned, in fact, today, he turned 75 years old. I'm pretty sure we were trying to figure out, I'm pretty sure he's the oldest senior vice president in the entire company globally. He just turned 75 today. So it was pretty cool. But you know what? We did this surprise Zoom for him. We got everybody onto a Zoom call and I kind of lied to him. I told him that we had a meeting and he got on and we all, burst out saying happy birthday. And he was very emotional. And he was emotional because he was saying that, look, ACN's brought so many great things to our lives, not just in terms of finances and freedom and business stuff, but the relationships. That's what he values the most in ACN, was the relationships that he's been able to make and friends that he's been able to make, genuine friends through this business. And a lot of them, we started off by meeting on social media, guys, okay? Social media will also help you guys attract people for when the time is right. I'm going to talk about long-term sales cycles. I'm going to talk about that. And then number four is Also, use it effectively. You'll be one step closer to achieving your reason why you're doing ACN. We all have different reasons why we're doing the business. For me, when I started, it was probably honestly more selfish. I just wanted to make some money, spend some time traveling, and do cool things. I was a young guy. Now I'm 36. Oh my gosh, I'm 36. Time flies. I'm 36 years old. I got two little boys of my own. One of them is just over 2 years old, and the other one's just over 6 months. And so for me, every day and every moment I put my time into ACN, it's for my family, right? The bigger I can grow my business, the more successful we can grow this organization, the more time it's going to be to spend with my family. So that's my motivating reason. I don't need motivation. That's motivation in itself. But if you use this effectively, guys, it's going to help you get closer to the reason why you're doing ACN. Okay. So your social network is not a replacement for your warm market. Okay. Don't get this wrong where, at the end of today's call, you're going to go spend hours and hours and hours mastering social media. That's not what my advice is. My advice is that social media is a tool in your toolbox. Okay. Just like doing one-on-ones is a tool, doing PVZs is a tool, doing BOMs or PBRs is a tool. Social media is a tool in your toolbox. And if it works correctly or you use it correctly, you can grow it. You can grow your social media presence. You can grow your warm market using social media, just like you would in traditional methods with direct sales. Okay. So let's talk about setting up your account, effectively setting up a good social media account. Okay. First of all, choose your platform. Now, I'll let you know, for me, my big thing is like Facebook and Instagram. That's kind of my, my comfort zone is social media, or is Facebook and Instagram. I would say I'm pretty good at it. Like I get a lot of personally enrolled IBOs, on social media via Facebook and Instagram. Now, I will tell you, if you guys want a little insider tip, LinkedIn, I'm telling you, listen to me, LinkedIn is one of the most underrated social media platforms for meeting people. Okay. And that includes recruiting and sponsoring new IBOs and meeting new people. LinkedIn is a great place that you may want to look at. So obviously the four major platforms are going to be Twitter, which honestly is not as effective, in my opinion, for networking. But Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn's fantastic. And even starting your own, looking at YouTube and different ways of doing social media, but those are probably your best platforms. Okay. So create a personal profile. Start, if you haven't already done so, obviously you guys are probably on Facebook if you're watching this, but create a personal profile on whatever platform that you're going to use. I would recommend, just my advice, that you choose 2 platforms. I don't recommend you start doing every platform that's out there, because that's going to take a lot of time and effort and commitment to begin with. Get your feet wet, right? Get your feet wet. Start off with maybe Facebook and Instagram, okay? But definitely create a profile, a personal private profile set up. It's got to be private for compliance reasons, which I'm going to talk about, but it's got to be a private. And on top of that, you don't want everybody and their dog adding you as a friend on Facebook. That's not the goal, which I'm going to speak about as well. Okay. Now, here's a big tip I'm going to give you guys. Okay. Image is a lot to deal with, a lot to do with our business. Okay. Image and branding. Okay. Maybe not so much image, but definitely branding. So you want to upload a fun, a friendly, but a professional photo. Okay. So let me give you some tips. Okay. If you're using Facebook, like take a look at right now, what I have on there is the ACN Pacific Facebook page. So there's, on Facebook, you have a chance to put up your profile photo, but also a cover photo. This is just Facebook I'm speaking about. Okay. Here's my advice for you. For your profile, I would recommend for the profile picture, it's a headshot. Okay. And the reason for that is, as people are scrolling through Facebook, your friends, the people that you know, if you have a photo, for example, of your family as your profile photo, it's going to be harder to tell and look at the image right away as people go through it like in a millisecond. So you want to have just a headshot photo of you. Now, here's what I would recommend. Make sure it's professional. Okay. It shouldn't be you taking a selfie unless it's a really good selfie. What I would recommend you do is find a family member, find a friend that's maybe into photography that would do it for free, or maybe a friend who's like, has a hobby in photography that will take half an hour of their day and go and take a couple really good headshots of you, like really good ones with great lighting. Because I'm telling you what, guys, it'll make a big difference. Test me. Listen to this. Test me tonight. Do me a favor. If you have a really good, if you don't, go get one done, but test me maybe tonight or over the next week and put up a new profile picture of yourself, a really good professional headshot where you're smiling, you're looking at the camera, or what have you. And I guarantee you, especially if your friends, family, and your social network are not used to seeing you that professional, it's going to make a big difference. So number one is upload a fun but professional photo just of you on the profile. Now for the cover photo, if you look at my Facebook, by the way, you're gonna notice my cover photo is my family. Now that's totally fine. That's where you can have a nice wide angle, wider shot and maybe have a whole bunch of things in there or your family or whatever you want. But the profile picture is really important. That's just a headshot of you, especially on Facebook, especially on Instagram. Instagram, absolutely, you should only have your face literally from the shoulders up, a headshot on there. Okay. Now make sure that you like and follow the ASEAN Corporate Pacific Facebook page. I've got it pictured right there. If you haven't already done so, make sure you and all of your new business partners are doing that. Look, as soon as someone gets started on my team, guys, the first thing I'm having them do is like our team Facebook group page, and then also like the corporate Facebook page as well, because they've got to stay up to date. That's where they're going to learn updates first, and almost everything is released right away on social media before it even goes out on email. Okay, encourage your team to do the exact same thing. So now, before you start posting, okay, before you go crazy and start posting everywhere, think about this. Your Facebook profile, your LinkedIn profile, your Instagram is your personal brand. And I want you to write this down. Who am I branding? Who am I being? Who am I showing up as? Am I showing up as ACN or am I showing up as Craig? Your goal is to brand yourself, right? We all love ACN. I love ACN, but my goal is to brand myself, right? And I want you guys to think of it this way: is imagine if you were a media company. I want you to look at running your business as if you were running a media company. And as a media company, you're always going to make sure that you're protecting your brand and your brand image, just like any big corporation, right? If you watch the news, for example, do you ever see a broadcast, like a broadcaster or somebody who's, a news anchor, who's talking on a major news channel in Australia or New Zealand, who isn't dressed to the nines or who isn't coming across as a good image and a good brand? No, absolutely. They're always on point because they know they have millions of eyes watching them. But in your case, you've got to be the same way. You've got to think of yourself as you are being branded, as you are an expert. Now, I don't care what position you are. It doesn't matter if you're CQ, ETL, RD, RVP, or SVP. The position is not relevant to what you're trying to do. You're trying to create brands, and you're trying to eventually, not right away, but eventually brand yourself as a creditable source of information for this business and this industry. Okay. So let me tell you right now what again, this is just my personal advice, but I would avoid controversial topics. Okay. So here's what I want you to do. Just write this down. Scrub my account. I want you to take some time tonight and tomorrow. And again, not hours, just a little bit of time here and there. I like doing social media after 10 o'clock at night when it's not prime time hours. Prime time for us guys, when we're doing presentations and getting customers, is typically like 8 a.m. to 9 p.m. or 10 p.m. After 10 p.m., that's a great time for you to jump online and tidy up some of your social media stuff. So what I want you to do is scrub your accounts, okay? So what do I mean by scrubbing your accounts? What I want you to do is jump online to your Facebook, not right now, but later, and go through all of your photos and posts, okay? And scrub them. Look for photos that could be controversial, things that could be taken the wrong way, inappropriate images or jokes. You want to avoid doing that because remember, guys, 50%, it's just like posting something political. Like we're in North America right now. We're right on the border of the United States. Do you think the last 6 months have been very heated? Oh my gosh, right? I'm not even down there, but I know how much how controversial the word politics is down there, because 50% of people are going to love what you post and 50% of people are going to hate it. So you're never going to win. You're only going to win by a small portion. Remember, being a leader in ACN is always being inclusive and welcoming of everybody, right? So avoid political views. Avoid posting anything that could be religious, racist, homophobic, whatever you think is going to create anything that's controversial. You don't want to be posting that on your social media, because right away, guys, you could be offending people and potentially damaging your brand or image. And I also want you to think about it this way. Most people, when they think about social media, they only think about prospects. They think, well, I'm going to scrub my account. I'm going to make sure that I don't have any photos of me from 3 or 4 years ago with a lampshade on my head and a beer in my hand, because that could be taken the wrong way by prospects. And yes, technically that's true. But what about your team members? Like, I don't know about you guys, but I'm sure it's the same there. Every time someone joins the team, one of the first things they do is they add you on social media. They go, oh, I'm excited to work with you. Hey, let me add you on Instagram. Let me add you on Facebook or on LinkedIn. And they start scrolling through photos. And I know that they do that, and they do it to you too, because I see them when they like a photo from 3 or 4 years ago. I'm like, wow, man, that person's doing a deep dive. And I laugh, but they're going through it and they're judging you. And if they see something that could be offensive, then what's happening is in their head, even subconsciously, they're going, oh, that's interesting. I never knew Craig felt that way, or I never knew he thought that way about this, or had an opinion about that. And look, there's nothing wrong with having opinions. I'm not saying think differently. What I'm saying is just be leery of what you share publicly. If you want to share something privately with your friends and your family that you're really close to, you can do that. But just remember, if you want to ever get to a point where you have a very large ACN business, you're going to have to learn to attract people who are different than you. All right. I remember I had a conversation with a mentor once, and he said, Craig, the moment my ACN business really started to grow was the moment I attracted people who were different than me. And I thought, that's interesting, because I was always attracting young guys, young go-getter guys. That's all I was attracting to my business. And then over time, it started to grow. And then I had, stay-at-home moms joining the team. I had professional ladies joining the team. I had older gentlemen joining the team. I had business people, I had younger people. I had a whole mix of people as I started to mature and learn more about that. So just be very leery of what you're posting on your Facebook. It's either going to be positive, right, and create interest in a positive way, or it's going to be controversial and negative. I have a guy on my team. I love him to death, but every day he posts jokes on his social media, and some of them are good, some of them are okay, but some of them are offensive, and they could be taken the wrong way. And, it's not my job to, force them to do anything. I just know if you want to become a big leader in ACN, guys, you've got to think about other people. You've always got to be thinking about, before I share something, what's this going to do? Is it going to bring entertainment? Is it going to bring value? Is it going to bring education to people? And how is it going to be perceived? Okay. So let's talk about contacts versus connections. This is really important stuff. Okay. I want you to have a long-term thinking about your social media business. And again, your media brand that you're building. Okay. The purpose of social media is to make connections, not just pique people, not just add 30 people, which is very typical in network marketing. I'll be honest. People jump onto Facebook, they get put in Facebook jail, which means they get banned for 2 or 3 days or 24 hours because they just added, 30 or 40 people, and then Facebook thought it was spam and they just blocked them because all they're trying to do is just add numbers, add numbers, add numbers. And I get it. They're just trying to be aggressive and talk to lots of people, but they're not building a brand, a long-term vision for what they want to do. See, I would much rather you not go and try and have 300,000 followers and go for 200 or 100 really good quality connections. Okay. So have a long-term vision for what your social media presence could look like as a brand, as an expert, and as a person. How do you want to be perceived? And do you want people going to you? How would you like it? Let me ask you this. How would you like it if people contacted you, right? If people contacted you and said, hey, I love what you're doing. I see that you're sharing some stuff that looks really exciting. I'd love to work with you because you look like a great person to work with online. I'll tell you a story. I had a gentleman in Australia who reached out to me via social media. He was going through a whole bunch of social media stuff. He found me in ACN and reached out to me, and he said, yeah, hey, I'm really interested in looking at the business. So I looked at a lot of different social media pages, and I connected well with you. I liked everything that you were sharing. I connected well with you. So just be very leery of that, okay? So contacts and connections. So do use your personal profile, okay? You wanna make sure it's a personal profile, not a public one that you're using, personal and private, okay? Cultivate relationships with your connections. Treat your followers as friends, real, genuine friends, not just random people and numbers on Facebook or Instagram. Remove all followers who write negative comments. If you've got somebody who's a negative Nancy or a bit of a rotten apple, just remove them, guys, right? Just remove them and block them. I did that the other day to somebody in one of my Facebook groups that I have for my team. I just removed them. It kind of felt good to be honest with you. Get that negativity out of your life, okay? And adhere to the social media policy that ACN Corporate has. That's really important, okay? So don't create a business page or public figure profile. You don't need to do that, honestly. It's just going to create confusion, to be honest with you. You're going to have two different profiles, and it's not effective, so don't do that. Make sure you focus on the number of, you don't focus on the number of followers you have. That's another mistake people make, is they say, oh, I really want to grow my following. I really want to grow my following. But in this industry, especially when you're getting started and you're an ETL or you're CQ and you're working your way through maybe even RD, it's more important about the quality of followers that you have. It's kind of like when you're inviting people to a meeting. You could do 30 text message invites to a bunch of random people to attend a meeting, and I could do 5 or 10 really good quality invitations, and I can guarantee you my guests are going to be more interested and more filtered than your 50 random text messages that you sent out, okay? So don't spam your followers, okay? And then finally, definitely don't send generic messages to your followers. Like just send out I've seen people do that, just send out a big bulk message to a bunch of people. Think of it this way, guys, and this comes back to ACN Corporate Facebook page. Like ACN does an incredible job within the company of sharing information and content. And some of it's really, really good that you can share. But on top of that, remember, when ACN makes a post from the corporate side of things, generally speaking, not all the time, but generally speaking, that information is probably geared towards us, the independent business owners. So you don't have to share every single thing that ACN shares. You don't want to be one of those, what do they call it? Spammy tammies, where you're just simply sharing that everything ACN shares, you're sharing, because all of your friends and family are just going to see that you just continually are sharing ACN stuff. You're not bringing any value. So write this down, guys. It's called the 80-20 rule. 80% of the information that you share should be personal, right? Your family life, right? Your, what you're doing in the community, your sports, your hobbies, everything personal. That should be 80% of your posts. Only 20% should be about business, okay? So 80% personal, family life and everything that you've got going on. 20% can be a direct business or business post, okay? So when it comes to accepting new friends, like and comment on a recent post, okay? So when someone adds you as a friend on Facebook, for example, or Instagram, jump onto one of their photos, find a photo that you like, make a comment on it, like it, double tap, make them feel good, all right? Interact with them. And remember, have a long-term vision of where this could grow. And it takes 2 seconds. Send them a message and say, look, hey, it's great to connect with you, Ron. How's everything? Thanks for adding me on Instagram. Thanks for adding me on Facebook. People love to get private messages. I'll tell you guys that, okay? Now, find something that you guys have in common. When it comes to finding new people on social media, what do you like to do? What did you like to do before everything that's happened in the last 6 months? Did you like to go bowling, dancing? Did you like to go eat out? Did you like to, whatever your hobbies, what about sports, right? We used to say to people, look, go join a club or a social club, or if you're into soccer, go join a soccer team to meet people. But these days that might not be possible. So what you could do is join a group on Facebook or connect with people that you've met who have similar interests to what you're doing. Send them a message. And remember, guys, if they don't have a profile, they're probably not even a real account. So don't even accept them as a friend, and definitely don't add them as a friend. The goal is not to get thousands of new followers and thousands of connections. It's quality over quantity in the beginning for sure, okay? So here's just an example. It says, hey, Victor, I saw your post on the community markets pop up in my newsfeed and I loved it. It's so great that we now have this local market. So I thought it would be cool to connect. How are things with you? Something simple, short and simple, but you're not talking about ACN. You're not sending them your online store. You're just connecting with people. You don't need to pitch them the business. Think of social media more as this way, guys, as fishing versus hunting, a net versus a spear, right? You're just fishing, right? You're just throwing stuff out there. Whoever bites creates interest. That's great, but you're not chasing people and having to pique them right off the bat. You want to build relationships, genuine relationships. So finding new friends. Here's another example. Hey, Savannah, I laughed so hard at your post about the toilet paper shortage. Ha ha ha. You seem like you have a great sense of humor. I'd love to connect. How are things? So anything of interest. It can be the silliest thing like this. It doesn't really matter. Here's another one that says, hey, Joe, I saw your post on Sausage Dog Central. I see you have 2 sausage dogs. I'm thinking about getting one. I would love to connect and pick your brain. But remember, this can only work if you're genuinely interested in dogs or whatever it is. Like for me, I'll give you an example, guys. I love fishing, okay? I live on the west coast of Canada. I live on an island. Fishing is really big here. So I'm part of like group pages and community pages that have to deal with fishing. And I can talk to lots of dudes about fishing and like what's happening in the market. And some of them I've built relationships with and we've gotten to know each other. I haven't even talked to them about ACN. Maybe one day I will. But you know what? We have a genuine interest in something common. That's what you've got to be looking for. So here's my question to you. What are you interested in? Like, what did you do before the world changed in March? What were you doing? Was it sports? Was it rugby? Was it cricket? It doesn't really matter. But think about what you had an interest in, okay? So let's talk a little bit about compliance, okay? Compliance is really important, by the way. So what to do? Like and follow the ACN Facebook page, like we spoke about. That's really important. Encourage your team members to use social media for business. In my opinion, if someone's not using social media, like especially these days, it's crazy, guys. It's so effective. I can't tell you the amount of people I've met. Like I know one of my best friends is on here, Ofa. She's a regional director with ACN. She was the #1 regional director in all of the Asia Pacific for 6 months in a row. Do you guys know that I met her on social media? I've never met her before. We connected on social media. We ended up meeting for coffee in Auckland, New Zealand. She joined the team. She had 60 people join her team in her first month, and she became a regional director in record time. And now she's going to be a regional vice president. We met on social media, guys. You can meet incredible people on social media, but just remember, it's only a tool in your toolbox, okay? So encourage your team to use that. Refer questions to the ACN Pacific website or IBO support. If you're ever in doubt, okay, make sure you ask first, okay? Abide by the policy and procedures at all times. And just remember, guys, nothing is worth losing your business. Nothing is worth losing your business and hurting the company at the same time. We all have a future with ACN. We're lucky to be part of such an incredible company. We want to be here 28 years from now. We've got to protect the company. So if you ever have a marketing idea or something that you're trying to do and you're not sure about it, what you need to do is send it to compliance@acnpacific.com.au. Don't be shy. We would rather you ask questions than try and just recreate the wheel and do something different that could go against the policies and procedures, okay? So check out Pacific Compass. There's a social media compliance section there where you can learn more about social media, okay? So definitely don't use the ACN logo, okay? Why would you want to anyways? You shouldn't want to use the ACN logo. I don't want to share the ACN logo because then everybody's going to know I'm in ACN, okay? Make sure you don't use product logos. You can't use any of the vendors, the agency logos, or branding or social media. You can, if ACN has shared it from their Facebook page, you can share that, but you just can't recreate it or create your own. And you don't want to do that anyways, guys. Don't make earning claims. Whatever you do, never make an earnings claim or any guarantees when it comes to marketing the ACN opportunity or services. Do not make claims about the products that are false, misleading, or incorrect. Do not prospect or cold market for customers. That's really important. And again, why would you want to? You shouldn't have to. I've never had to do that. And I'm a senior vice president. I don't even want to do that, right? There's endless amounts of referrals that you can get. And do not advertise on groups such as Buy, Swap, Sell, or Facebook Marketplace. And just so you guys know, it's ineffective. Honestly, it's super ineffective to do that. There's so many better ways to build a business than try and do it that way, which is really ineffective and also against compliance too. Okay. Do not mention specific partnered services or plans that are unless they are shared directly from the ASIN corporate Facebook page. And make sure that your posts are set to private. So if you're going to share something, if you actually want to share something from ASIN Corporate's Facebook page, you can do that, but just make sure that your page is set to private. It's really easy to do that, and make sure your post is set to private too. It's pretty simple, okay? Do not create a fake ASIN or product brand identity. When you're naming your page or group, you're not allowed to use ASIN trademarks. Always use your full name or business name. And again, why would you want to name something ACN? We talked about earlier, guys, that you want to brand yourself. You want to create your brand and your image. Now, if you're going to share something that has to deal with ACN, you've got to clearly state that you're an ACN independent business owner. Or you can also mention in your Facebook profile underneath the bio title that you're an independent business owner with ACN. Okay. So definitely don't spam people or broadcast using social media. Nobody likes being spammed. You know, can you imagine if you were a friend of yours and you just consistently shared ACN stuff every day? Like, that would get probably to the point where people just decide to unfollow you, or at least turn off seeing your posts for a long time. Okay. You're representing not only yourself, but also the ACN opportunity. So use appropriate language, keep it professional, and always, always remember, you're supposed to be the expert. You're supposed to be the leader. How do you want to be perceived when people see you on social media? Because I'm telling you, whether you believe me or not, people are going to prejudge you. And you've got to be an example to your new team members who are adding you on social media and all the prospects that are watching you. Because whether you believe me or not, they're watching you guys. They're seeing how you do. What kind of success are you getting? What results are you getting? So share your stories. Tell people what you're doing. You don't have to mention it's ACN. You can just tell people, look, here's what's going on in my life. I'm heading off to a business meeting, or I'm heading off to a training event, or whatever it might be. Create some interest, create some curiosity, but just make sure it's professional, appropriate, and compliant, okay? So let's talk about recapping this. Set up your personal profile and put it on private mode. That's something you're going to want to do right away, guys, okay? And remember, it's all about quality, not quantity of contacts. Brand, treat your profile like your personal brand. We spoke about that a million times. Contacts versus connections. Have long-term thinking. If you want to write something down, it's called drip selling. So that means that, you know, when you add somebody or you meet somebody on Facebook and you connect, maybe you're not going to pitch them the business right away. You know, maybe you're not going to pique them the exact same moment they add you. Hey, are you open to an opportunity? Because that's kind of cliche. That's a little bit network marketing-esque. So what you're probably going to want to do is what's called drip selling. They're going to see what you're doing. Over time, they're going to see what you're doing. Your credibility is going to be established. And maybe a week from now, 2 weeks from now, a month from now, 6 months from now, or a year from now, they may come back to you and say, hey, Craig, hey, or Bob, look, I've seen what you're doing. It looks pretty exciting. I saw that you guys just did this or you launched that. Hey, that's awesome. I'd love to learn more. But it's timing, guys. It's all about timing. With friends, accept and find new friends. Make them count, and always remember compliance, guys. Go ahead and jump into the Pacific Compass back office and check that stuff out. Read a little bit about it in terms of compliance, okay? So it's all about the long-term vision for you to grow a successful social media network and brand with your ACN business. So next week, here's what I'm going to talk about. Again, this is a two-part series. This is part one. Next week, I'm going to get into the meat potatoes on how to build a network, how to recruit, how to get a huge network growing using social media, okay? We're also going to talk about increasing your online presence. I'm going to give you guys examples, literally screenshots of examples of what I've used to get a ton of interest, not just customers, but also independent business owners. We're going to talk about conversations. I'm going to show you conversations that you can use and how to share the ASIN opportunity. So join me next Wednesday at 7 o'clock. By the way, it's the exact same link we're on right now. So just save that in your phone. Do me a favor, set a reminder in your phone and jump on. It's at 7 o'clock Sydney, Canberra time. You've got to check out next week. So let's wrap up with this, guys. I hope you got something from tonight, by the way. Let's wrap up with this. I'm going to give you some homework, okay? What time is it, guys? It's 12:40 a.m. So I'm going to give you some homework, okay? Here's your homework. I want you to make 3 posts by next week's call. So by next week, when we do part 2 of this series, I want you to have made 3 posts on your Facebook, your Instagram, your LinkedIn. Remember, you're going to use 2 of those platforms that you're going to become really good at. Okay. It's got to inspire, educate, or entertain. And when I say entertain, I mean professionally classy entertain. Okay. It's got to be one of those 3: inspire people, educate people a little bit, like just a little tip, or entertain people. You know, and it could be something as simple as this, guys, where you put up a video and just says, hey, friends, family, hey, everybody on Facebook. Hey, I just wanted to jump on here on Facebook Live real quick and let you know about something that I learned that really helped my mindset. I just read this great book. I just did this, and it was something that really helped my mindset for the day. You know, I just wanted to share that with you guys. I hope everybody's having a great day, and let's go out there and kill it. You know, something simple like that. But literally just that alone, guys, is going to put you at the top of people's feeds, and it's going to help you get into the mode of starting to do this. So that's your homework. 3 posts by next week. Okay. I'm going to be checking in on everybody as well. Okay. And then number 2 is for your homework, 10 new connections by next week. Okay. By next week's call, I want you to have added or connected with 10 new people on the platform that you're using, Facebook or Instagram or LinkedIn or whatever it is. 10 new quality connections. I'm not just talking about going add and adding 10 randos. I want 10 good quality connections, and I want you to say hello, say what's up, say what's going on, how are you, mate, whatever you want to say, but 10 quality connections. And then number 3 is your homework is I want you to bring one person from your team at least onto this training next week, because I'm telling you, part 2, guys, part 2 is going to be good. I'm going to knock it out of the park. You're going to learn stuff. Like, I'm going to share with you my screenshots. I don't even know if I should, I know Roxy and Lily aren't. I don't even know if I should share this stuff with you guys next week. Maybe I shouldn't. Should I do it? I don't know. I'm not sure. It's pretty good, guys. Should I do it? I'm not sure. Should I do it? I'm not sure. Maybe I shouldn't. Maybe, you know what? I'll just save it for all the Canadians. Okay, you know what? You've convinced me. Next week, I'm going to share with you guys some stuff that's like black belt karate stuff that's going to get you guys results. So with that, guys, I hope you learned from some info from tonight. If you did, track me down on social media. Let me know what you learned, and go do your homework. All right. We're going to see you guys next week. Same link, same time, same bat channel. Go out there, learn a little bit about social media, but just remember, it's just a little sliver of your business. You still got to do everything else too, like meetings. Okay. Good luck, everybody. Thanks, everyone. Have a great night. Okay.